Hello and welcome to another feature match. I am Josh, aka Cronin, joined by Montaleo, Andy himself. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Josh?
I'm doing really well. We've got a great match between clanmate Duranoth and Thorme.
What are these guys playing, Josh?
Well, I can tell you Duranoth's playing Omniscience Show and Tell Burning Wish combo deck.
Is he playing Enter the Infinite in this deck?
He is entering the infinite.
Holy freaking cat! When have you ever seen that in Classic?
Well, it's not very old, so we haven't seen much of it yet.
I'd say it's zero. And what's Thor playing?
I don't know. Why don't you tell us?
I think he's on that. He's playing that Gutter Snipe build, isn't he?
Yeah, he's on red blue, I think.
Yeah. He's got an Is It build. It's pretty cool. I've seen him play a few matches up to this point, and it's built around Gutter Snipe, which is basically a three casting cost, one red, two colorless, two goblin, I believe, and it deals two damage to target player every time a spell is cast by that, that goblin. And yeah, it's pretty powerful and a shell like we have for classic. So this
Yeah,
should be
it's every time instant or sorcery is cast, right?
yeah, by the owner of the spell. It's not in general
Yeah.
opponents. But what do you think here? It's a pretty interesting match because basically we're playing combo versus I guess you would kind of say a combo aggro type deck.
Yeah, he's Thorme's got some pretty good control elements, but so does Duranoth, so
That's what I meant to an aggro control, not combo control.
I guess we'll see who can fight through what here.
Yeah.
I know
So
Gutter Snipe is pretty dangerous. I've played around with it myself.
it's one of those innocuous type of cards though. When you see it cast, like is it a card that you burn a force of will on? Do you
I
know?
agree. I probably would stop to think about it for a second.
Having seen it in action, I can tell you I probably would counter it because that deck is built around, but it's far more powerful than you think. It's one of those insidious cards that just sneaks up on you. The next thing you know, you're dead. So it's a neat little piece of tech. I have to give Thorm some props on playing it.
Definitely.
When you look at a guy like Thorm who's relatively new to the classic scene, we haven't seen much of him previous to the last QT number two, and he was quite innovative in that one as well. He was playing a combo mud basically. It was a sphereless deck more or less, and kind of revolved around getting the Volt key combo going, and he took that into the money.
Yep.
So you've got to give this gentleman some innovation props. So Duranoth has just mystical tutored an end of turn for a show and tell.
And Daze is, as far as we know, the only counter magic he has.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not very useful at the moment.
No.
Unless mana drain's the only thing Thorme has. Well,
This just can't resolve. A show and tell cannot resolve on Duranoth's side because, well, it's just game if he does. Because he's got Emrakul's and Omniscience and Grizzlebrands and
yep.
ridiculous stuff.
But I imagine Thorme has quite a bit of counter magic at this point. He's pondered twice and brainstormed. And he knew what he was up against there
Yeah.
with that Cataxian probe.
Yeah. This is your typical battle of attrition here. It's just who can wait who out the longest. And I think playing in the defensive role here is pretty good. So, and viewers can there for Zach Witt logging in on Skype. Hi, Zach. So these guys are just playing pass and go right now. Looks like just a land drop. Thorme leads out with a Snapcaster. What's he going to put that on? A Ponder or a Brainstorm?
Probably a. Well, I don't know if he wants to crack his fetch. Yep, he's gonna brainstorm.
Well, when you have a fetch and play Brainstorm, such a superior card, in my opinion.
Agreed.
So we are having a battle of brainstorms here. You know, I can tell you, going back to Thorme's deck, it's so cool to see different type of decks come into Classic, because we've kind of, it's almost been stagnant for so long now that it's just such a fresh breath of air to see Sniper coming in.
Stagnant for you, the man that only plays shops.
I don't just play shops, Josh. That is a fallacy, my friend.
A phallus.
It's a fallacy. It is not the only deck that I play. You know that I've always been a lover of Oath. So we are being very pensive here on these brainstorms as to what we're doing. Both of Druids into a two-man the other day, and felt pretty good. I was able to win that relatively handily against some gentleman I've never seen before who was playing a Eureka.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty odd actually. He was able to almost combo off one of the games, but he ran into my old friend Mr. Force of Will. Which is good if you're a combo deck. Unless, of course, you've got 10 tendril triggers on the stack.
So it looks like Duranoth might be going for his combo here.
Well, Duranoth, see, is just falling so far behind drops. Like he's getting desperate. And I think that you're right with Thorme. Thorme's just kind of been sitting back on his counter magic and beating him down with a Snapcaster, and not good. So Duranoth has had his hand forced, as we like to say. No pun intended.
It's not forced yet.
Well, he's tapped a couple lands here, so we could be seeing a mana drain, which can help him ramp out some stuff.
Yeah, I don't know how much he has to ramp out. I guess it makes Gutter Snipe easier to cast.
Oh, I mean, that is just a beating getting dazed there.
Yeah.
Daze is one of those cards that is just, it's almost like you're slapped in the face when you get hit with it, because Daze is such a crappy card in a late game situation. And you know it. I think it's so easy to play around, particularly in a league like this where you know what the opponent's playing.
Agreed, but still.
It's an incredibly powerful card, and I can't tell you how many times I've won and lost to it.
Every land drop is precious and turns are important, so you don't really want to be skipping to cast everything for one more.
And there you go. You just heard it from the proc itself, folks. That is the lesson for the day on land drops and days. And there it is.
It's hard to play around. That's the lesson.
Indeed. I have to tell you that the art on Gutter Snipe is just downright ugly.
Agreed.
Isn't classic art supposed to be the best?
Well, this is a modern card.
Indeed. But it is a classic card now. We're seeing it in classic. So there you go. Cheat in the face. Just cast Freak Ataxian Probe.
Draw himself into more spells, and he can just go to town here.
Is he running? Is it Charm, Josh? It's another new card that has had a fair amount of hype for Classic before we've, when we were reviewing it, Gatecraft.
I don't know if he has any. I've definitely seen it in vintage blue red builds
Or, or
as of late.
well, there is an all-in card if I've ever seen one.
I wish I played it more.
Oh man, I mean the deck you guys are playing, it has pretty much every broken card in it, and flashing rectum for those viewers who are not aware of the deck. And
Yeah, but it's all one of, so that card would ruin it.
yep. But if you needed a bullet, I'm not saying it'd be good in your deck, but it is a really, really good card. And I remember when it was unrestricted.
Yes, it was too good at that point.
Oh, absolutely. Back in the good old Necroponence days. So there you have it, folks. Gutter Snipe, Snapcasters, Beaten Face. And Duranoth is still sitting at 3 lands, and opponent has 7 lands. 6 lands.
Alright, we're back in game 2 here. And Duranoth has led with a ponder.
Aren't those ponders sexy?
I actually think it's pretty ugly.
For me, I think it's nostalgia of perhaps the greatest pinnacle of Classic ever, which was winter events when they gave those.
Yep.
Yeah, I've certainly would never sell mine. I've got a sweet spot for them. Well, I would sell my non-foil ones, but
Yeah, I got about 1,000,000 of them.
yeah, me too. But I was fortunate enough to get myself a playset of foil ones, which I won. So they're kind of like when you go to a blue bell and you win yourself a piece of power. You don't want to get rid of those. So, Gitaxian Probe from Thorme. So he's got a peek at Duranoth's hand. You think of that card, Josh, Gitaxian Probe, and the power level of what he just did. Like, he knows exactly what Duranoth is up to with his, and he knows how to play it accordingly. Does he keep his man up?
It's good. It's a good card. It's hard to fit in decks, but
Yeah, it's kind of like filler, but you look at decks like that have run Cabal Therapy or Meddling Mage. Gitaxian Probe is just really that good of a card. You
yeah.
can Gitaxian Probe somebody and you're gonna for free, and then you pop Meddling Mage on the table. You see that they've got 3 lightning bolts in their hand. That's pretty good. I've never been
Agreed.
impressed with enough to actually, play tournaments or something like that. I've got multiple bant lists that have tried to do it, and I find that they're very situational.
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever just play it for a little bit of value.
No, but you see, in a tournament like this is where you see a card like Meddling Mage shine because you know what your opponents are playing, and you will never have a better opportunity than that to play something like a Meddling Mage. And I give Planet Walls credence for that. He's the only guy I think in the tournament playing Meddling Mages. And having played against him, I know the power level of it because he nailed me with it every single time he played it. Lodestone Golem.
Wow. That's a pretty obvious choice when your opponent leads with a workshop.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what tournament you're in.
Well, Trinisphere and Chalice can hurt pretty good too. Spheres and Thorns. Or a worker for that matter.
But he didn't know you had Lodestone in hand, did he?
No, it's blind.
So,
Like with Gitaxian Probe, it makes it even better. So we have a show and tell here, folks. We have a show and tell on the stack. Is this going to get through, Josh?
Mm, I
Seven,
guess.
7 cards in hand for Thorme.
It's already gone through.
Omniscience and a gutter snipe. Well, there you go. That just does that. Emrakul on cast off Omniscience is about the worst thing you can ever see when you're on the opposing side of the Omniscience.
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason to brainstorm at that point.
No.
It's
Unless
too late.
unless you have several instants in hand that cost no mana.
Yeah.
Uh, well, maybe not. Good game.
If you have 7 noxious revivals in hand,
Well, maybe he's got 2 days. Well, you actually can't counter Emrakul.
no. I guess you can daze it, it just doesn't work, is that right?
Yeah, you could daze it. It just sure you just can't counter it,
Yeah.
which is about as demoralizing thing as you can do.
At least you'd get to save his lands.
Yeah. So there you have it, folks. Young Master Emrakul beating down for the win off of an Omniscience, which is one of the most fun plays you can do in Magic. Not as good as a Channel Bam.
It's close.
Yeah, it is for sure. So we are now sitting 1-1. And this is going to be for the money here, Josh. Who are you choosing?
I still think Thorme's got a pretty good shot. He's a little. He's got enough control where I think it makes it tough on Duranoth. And I'm surprised that show and tell resolved.
Do you know what card I could actually see being quite good in Thorme's deck? And interested on what you think of this is what about a Library of Alexandra, Josh?
Yeah. It's good in most decks.
Yeah. I love it. I wish I could play it myself. It's not a card I play a lot of because I am prominently a Stacks player.
You could play it in stacks.
I've actually seen people play it before. And to me, it's just not a natural fit. It just doesn't make sense.
No. Because the whole thing you do is drop that and not play a turn 1 play, whereas you want to be playing a turn 1 play, so it's.
Oh, yeah. If you're not playing something on turn 1 in Stacks,
You're doing it wrong.
wrong. And I did do that today in my league match because I didn't have any choice. I can tell you, it's really demoralizing.
There's no more naked feeling than to be a stacks player with nothing out.
Indeed. Well, it looks like Thorme already has the upper hand here. He got a really good strip mine on Duranoth. And Duranoth is actually casting perhaps the ugliest brainstorm ever printed.
Yeah. He is doing that.
I remember before the MED brainstorms came out, of course, that was a money card, eh? The Ice Age brainstorm. And yeah, I can't tell you how grateful I was when the MED ones came out because those brainstorms from Ice Age were just ugly. Almost as ugly as the promo Demonic Tutor.
Which one?
Both of them. I mean, the worst one was the
From the vault one.
From the vault one is just, oh my god, I'd sooner not play it.
What a snob you are.
Oh man, what can I say? I can't even deny it. That was just the ugliest freaking card. I was so happy when I could get rid of them. But, Josh, we are seeing a tough situation here. We have got a flip now, and he is going to be beating down pretty hard. And Thorme has 6 cards, 5 cards, 6 cards again, and Duranoth has 7. I mean, that Delver puts a lot of pressure on Duranoth. Duranoth's going to be forced to make a play here.
Yep.
I mean, he's got a couple turns. He does have a dearth of lives
We
left, but
see what's in his hand right here.
yeah. It's a long pause.
So he's got a Pyroblast, Omniscience, Force of Will, Mana Crypt, Gristlebrand, Ancient Tomb, and Underground Sea. Needs a show and tell.
Hi, lad. Hi. Why this is taking so long?
Not sure why you would crack your fetch with nothing to do with it.
Agreed.
So if that other Delver flips, this clock becomes quite fast.
Yeah. And we both know that it's inevitable for that thing to be flipping with the amount of spells that Thorme's playing, so
Yep.
puts Duranoth on a really tight clock. You know, Josh, I don't know about you, but I find it really weird watching Duranoth play something like,
Blue?
yeah, Omni Show. Like it's just weird. He's as we all know, he's an extremely adept, green white black player. He's always played the fish decks. I've never seen him play anything else, and I can understand him wanting to, but when you've got a winning recipe,
Yeah, he's already qualified, I think, and just wanted to try something else out.
well, I mean, he actually won the last QT altogether, so I mean, I can't fault him for it.
Well,
That, that
Ancient Tomb is not very good.
yeah.
Duranoth uses his Pyroblast to kill a Delver,
It's good to me.
but that doesn't save him much time here with that Gutter Snipe on the table.
Yeah. You know, Delver's really. Have you ever heard that song by Elvis? You better win that race. That's what a Delver is to me. You better win that race.
Oh my god. Yeah.
No, no, I'm Elvis, not God.
Better not say that around some people in Tennessee.
Well, it's very true. I know that somewhere in the world there's a big Elvis fest every year. I think my aunt went there once, and it's pretty crazy. She said everywhere they went, there were like thousands and thousands of people dressed up like Elvis. She said it was pretty funny. A lot of
Alright, Duranoth went for the Burning Wish. It got spell snared and he forced it pitching a force. This is the last hurrah.
The last gasp. And I do not think this bodes well for Duranoth. What are your thoughts, Josh?
I'm not sure what he can go for here. I mean, he's got to go for show and tell, I assume, but he's pretty
Yeah.
much dead to spells from Gutter Snipe, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's another force. So, Duranoth going to. Is he. He's dead because there's 2 Gutter Snipe triggers on the.
Yeah. This one's over.
Alright, congratulations to Thorme.
Yeah. See you guys in the next round, and we'll see